For over 130 years, UNB Law has produced extraordinary leaders who have made remarkable contributions to society, both in Canada and abroad. Our alumni include multiple premiers, cabinet ministers, attorneys general, judges, chiefs and elders, managing partners of major law firms, and CEOs and general counsel of Canada's top companies. The number of UNB Law alumni who have taken significant leadership positions is remarkable, especially when you consider that for most of its history, UNB Law had a graduating class of less than 80 students. We believe that the enviable success of graduates stems from the 4 values that have defined UNB Law for generations, and that will continue to guide its future. It's UNB Law's intimate learning environment, its core curriculum, its obsession with student success, and the impact of its research that set it apart amongst Canadian law schools. Law students develop the hard and soft skills to thrive as legal professionals when they're able to build meaningful and lasting relationships with their professors and their peers. That's why, for generations, UNB Law has intentionally kept its class sizes small. In a UNB Law classroom, there's nowhere for students to hide. They will be challenged, they will struggle, and they will hear arguments they disagree with. Such is the rigor of our program. But at the same time, in these small classes, our students will be uplifted and inspired to achieve their full potential.
You've got an intimacy, and that intimacy allows you to know everybody in your class and the classes before and after you. And that becomes extraordinarily important in future life because these are people who are going to be influential in the province and in the country.
I think UNB Law fosters that humble, selfless personality or quality. It's not elbows up. It's not competitive.
All of that element of collaboration and goodwill, and I might say kindness, has been an important part of the opportunities I've had to be in leadership roles or otherwise to get things done.
There was nobody in my class I didn't know. You drew on those friendships to survive during sometimes very difficult times. My legal education gave me confidence and the ability to navigate very difficult situations in the business world.
I think about my class, I think about those who are ahead of me a couple of years and those are behind, and a lot have gone on to do really wonderful, exceptional things.
It is rather amazing the number of leaders actually it has produced, but what UNB has done for them, I think, is set the conditions that optimized their potential.
UNB Law's intimate atmosphere also fosters learning that goes beyond academics. Employers tell us that one of the distinctive features of UNB Law graduates is their collegiality. At UNB Law, as in the profession and as in life, you get ahead by working hard and being kind to others.
The philosophy behind UNB Law's curriculum is that the courses we teach need to be timeless. They need to be relevant regardless of what issues are dominating society at a particular point in time. So that's why we focus on legal analysis, legal research, oral advocacy, and the fundamentals of common law and legislation. We want to make sure that our students are equipped to tackle any challenges, whether present or future. And I think this actually contributes to the leadership potential of our students, because the greatest leaders are the ones that can think broadly and creatively to solve the biggest challenges.
When I went to law school, it broadened my perspective on issues. There was no right answer. There were many sides to many arguments, and it enabled, I think, an enhanced problem-solving skill set that was really beneficial to me.
The most important things that I learned at law school was critical thinking and communication both orally and the written word. And I think the UNB curriculum and the way we're taught at UNB are critical, in my mind, to a successful career, whether it be in business or law or frankly in any other career path. I can trace back any success I've had in my career to my days at UNB.
As a teacher, I was very fond of the Socratic method, and I liked it because it made students think. They also knew that if they were going to be asked a question in class that they had to have read the material, and it became an interesting exchange between myself and the students.
A class with Professor Bird was always very interesting. You were going to learn a lot. You were going to be very challenged. And I remember in particular in one insurance class that I was really put on the spot. And I mean, I remember this 27 years later. It's quite remarkable.
Just the bare bones of the law. Studying that was very important. I used constitutional law during Meech Lake and Charlottetown Accord. You've just got a platform that can give you multiple directions. And in my case, it gave me more than anything else, perhaps critical thinking.
UNB Law helped to develop my leadership skills because I really became a professional at UNB. I came in as probably on the more reserved side, and I found my voice at UNB Law.
One of the benefits of the UNB Law education from my perspective was the number of doors it opened. When I think of the people I graduated with, many of them have gone on to have careers in academia, have careers in the private sector, in non-governmental organizations. Some have gone on to serve as judges.
But I think in terms of what one learns, it gives them a good basic knowledge and grounding in the law itself, and that's something that is of great, I think, respect and an attribute for many employers.
But I think the law school was instrumental for me just to allow me to really enhance my analytical skills. I went into commercial law and doing transactions on Bay Street. Just allowed me to almost start like I was in my 4th year as associate, not my 1st year as associate.
Not only did my legal education at UNB Law set me on a path of professional successes beyond my wildest dreams, but more importantly, it also was the launching pad of a career and a personal life dedicated to mentorship and community services.
My teaching philosophy is not that complicated. It's basically unbridled enthusiasm and a piece of chalk. My goal is to make sure they understand the law, but also that they care about it and that it evokes some sort of response from them. So if I can make them laugh, if I can make them cry, if I can make them feel something beyond trying to figure out what the legal test is or what the correct principle is, I've done my job.
I like to imagine, as far as teaching goes, that I'm halfway between the students' undergrad professors and the managing partner of the firm, where they may be working in a couple of years. So, I like to set the bar really high, but I have all the time in the world for students who are trying and just struggling to grasp a concept or method.
I really see a lot of instructors really caring about developing teaching methods and assessments that encourage students to be inquisitive about the material, to display their understanding of the material, think about it in different ways and develop their own voice.
UNB Law has an obsession with student success. This is a big reason why so many of our graduates become exceptional leaders. As an institution, UNB Law has long understood that its success is inextricably linked to the success of each of its graduates. This means that when UNB Law students have a goal, they have the support of a 130-year-old institution behind them, with every professor, employee, and graduate willing to do whatever it takes to help them succeed. And the results speak for themselves.
Let's look at what we're doing at the McKelvey Cup, for example, where last year we won the competition, and at the Sapinka Cup won more prizes than any other law school in Canada, including Best Overall Advocate. This is UNB Law's biggest mooting success in over 2 decades.
We have a robust and a vibrant set of moots for students to participate in, but not only participate, but to compete in on a national scale.
Prior to 2017, we probably had about 1 to 2 students a year who would clerk following graduation. Now we have about 4 or 5 who clerk post-graduation, and then we also have about 2 or 3 who usually obtain a clerkship that follows their articling year, which is a really exciting thing for our students. We are consistently placing students in articling positions. About 95% of our class is usually placed with a articling position. And typically the other 5%, it's not that they're not placed, it's more they're pursuing different opportunities, whether it be a JD Advantage career or another graduate degree.
When it came down to interview stage, and the second interview stage especially, the career service office was, ready and waiting. There was a lot of late night phone calls of, I think this firm wants me, I'm not sure, what do you think?
UNB Law's impact on society is also felt through the research contributions of its professors. For decades, UNB Law scholarship has been known for its relevance to real-life problems. Through their contributions to law reform and legal doctrine, UNB Law's professors have helped find solutions to the toughest challenges. In doing so, our professors also set a fine example for our students, showing them that advanced legal knowledge and skill can be used to benefit society as a whole.
When you look at the impact of UNB Law's research, it's truly remarkable. In the 1970s and 80s, you had the influence of people like Professors Carl Dorr and Dick Bird, who were very involved in law reform. Professor Dorr was the principal author of the Consumer Product Warranty and Liability Act in New Brunswick. More recently, you can look at seminal Supreme Court of Canada decisions like Aria and Nevson. In that case, Professor Laforêt was cited extensively, as were a previous Viscount Bennett lecture and Rand lecture, both of which were published in the UNB Law Journal.
What I'm currently researching is the intersection between trade policy and environmental rules. We're looking at international trade agreements and the obligations that Canada assumes at the international stage with respect to Canada's trading partners, and how, in fact, can we make trade become more sustainable.
My main research interests are in the area of patent law, in particular patent remedies, although I've written on other substantive patent law areas. I write for the courts and practitioners. I know my work is widely cited by the courts, widely read by practitioners.
Our ambitious vision for the future of UNB Law is grounded in these core values. Over the next 4 years, we will become a leader in experiential learning, establish a graduate program, and diversify our curriculum through an intensive term. We will also expand our student services, particularly in the areas of career services and wellness, to ensure that we continue to help our students maximize their potential. We also plan to hire 8 new professors, including at least 1 new research chair, so that we can maintain our intimate learning environment and expand our research profile. This bold vision is already well underway. This fall, we opened the UNB Legal Clinic, which is New Brunswick's only full-time, non-governmental organization offering free legal representation to people who can't afford a lawyer.
The clinical experience will enhance the students' experience at law school by helping them develop their self-confidence and understand the basic problems that people who have less privilege in this society have. It may change their worldview and give them the ability to have a lot more empathy.
UNB Law also takes seriously its responsibility to implement the TRC calls to action that relate to law schools. In 2021, UNB Law alumnus, the Honorable Graydon Nicholas, joined the faculty to help integrate Indigenous teachings and culture into our curriculum with an emphasis on first year.
Well, first of all, Wikwa in my language means the one who loves to tell stories. So that is significant in our culture, and I think this is kind of what I bring to UNB. The students are able to contact me, and if there are particular projects that they're interested in, I help them in that. And some of the other professors, for example, will invite me to their courses at the very beginning to bring an Indigenous dimension to whatever they're teaching.
Our vision is of a law school that is engaged with and serving our community. It will continue our proud tradition of leadership by giving students even more opportunities to help people and organizations solve problems. Everyone will benefit from this vision, not just our students and professors. Through the Legal Observatory, we will have a space in the law school where legal proceedings will take place, and our students can watch and learn as they unfold. We will also have space for restorative justice circles, which our students have been leading in partnership with the RCMP for several years now. And we'll expand and find a permanent home downtown for our new legal clinic, which is already making a critical difference in our community.
I'm enormously optimistic and enthusiastic about the direction of the law school, about the strategic plan. That I think to have a law school that has deliberately decided to remain at a size that offers these unique opportunities that was the case when I was a student is important. I think to have a law school that recognizes that one of its core functions is to educate and train the next generation of lawyers is also a critical thing.
I'm just very excited at the turning point that the law school is in terms of setting up a legal aid clinic, contributing to the local community, ensuring that their offerings to future lawyers are providing them with the most competitive base of skills and knowledge possible.
These are all very important future directions and commitments that are based on what has been important at UNB Law over the decades.
I'm very confident in the outcome. The president and the dean can be the drivers on the program. They have a focus and they have a destination, but they require financial support to execute like any good school.
Today, more than ever, we need leaders who will find solutions for the many challenges we face in society. With the launch of UNB Law's strategic plan and the progress we've already made in implementing it, we're prepared to fill this need, and we're poised to affirm UNB Law's place as one of Canada's best law schools. We are taking a big leap forward, and our recent successes are just the beginning. Our future looks so bright because our faculty is a top priority for UNB, because our alumni are prepared to invest in future generations of UNB Law graduates, and because we're building on the core values that distinguish UNB Law as a place that fosters exceptional leaders.